Once upon a time, many moons ago, there lived a goblin girl. This goblin girl grew up in the forest. She never knew another soul. She spoke to the animals as if they were her best friends. She sang to the trees as if they could hear her. And she danced in the flowers as if there was nothing better than nature itself. She needed no others. The animals were her friends. The plants provided her a warm bed to sleep on, and plenty of fresh fruit to eat. Years went by with the goblin girl alone, happy and surrounded by nature, until she heard the first crack of the fire. Before she and the animals had a chance to react, the forest found itself engulfed in flame, smoke thick in the air and filling her lungs. She watched and ran in horror as the place she called home fell to ruin. Faster and faster the goblin girl ran, struggling to catch her breath. With the air thick around her, she gasped and choked as the flames encircled her, and eventually, when she couldn't hold on anymore, everything went black. Not yet, a single voice muttered. That's the last thing she remembers before everything changed. Fire, smoke, blackness, a whole year of her life just missing. Empty, no recollection of anything that happened. When she finally opened her eyes, she saw a pair of eyes staring back at her, kind, warm, and concerned. "Are you okay?" the creature said. The being was large, with stone-gray skin and a muscular frame. Armor made of animal hide and fur covered his body, and he held a staff in his left hand. "Are you okay, child?" he repeated. Her head spun. She could hardly feel any part of her body. She felt cold and hot all at the same time. Shaky, but perfectly still. She struggled to understand what this creature was saying. He was clearly speaking to her, but she had never spoken to anyone before. She had no understanding of any language. To him, he saw a goblin, pale green in complexion, with dark spots of what looked like dirt under her, across her skin. Out of her hair grew sticks and thorns, and he swore her hair looked similar to that of vines. He himself was a druid, and a rather powerful one at that. But in all his years, he had never encountered nature's curse quite like this. She glanced at her surroundings. The moon was high in the sky. The grass was still as soft as ever against her limbs. She felt beneath her back a weight, something sturdy and wooden. A tree? To her feet, she saw a round red fruit, ripe and ready for a bite. An apple tree? Pull, she struggled to say. The word was foreign to her, one she didn't even know herself. The man, a Goliath, reached for an apple on the ground and extended it to her. "You like apples, little one?" he asked, ushering it to her mouth for her to take a bite. The goblin took a bite of the fruit, noting its sweetness and the way its juice flowed down her chin. In her strange, weakened state, the taste felt almost euphoric. No other meal had tasted so sweet and nourished her so. "Do you have a home?" The goblin girl looked at the Goliath, not understanding his words. She felt dizzy. Her body shook, and her lips felt dry as the desert sun. The Goliath reached out to her to help her stand. She looked scared, vulnerable. He lifted her body off the ground, carrying her as a father would their child, and he noticed her hesitate at his touch. She felt cold, and it was clear that she wouldn't last the night without proper food and water. The Goliath sought to nursing after her health. He gave her his own bed to sleep on, gave her water to drink, and fetched berries from the wilds to feed her. She did not speak, nor understand the common or goblin tongues, but still would ask every day to eat an apple from the apple tree outside his home. From this love of apples, he named her Appleseed. Many months went by as Appleseed's health began to improve. She regained her strength, learning how to fight, like from the Goliath man. She regained speed, becoming like a petal blowing in a strong wind. She became hardy, able to take on a hit and unafraid to feast on even the most strange-looking of wild mushrooms. She became smart, quickly grasping language and becoming surprisingly articulate. She became charismatic, a naive yet happy friend to all she came across. And more than anything, she became wise, and her connection to nature grew and grew. With that, so did her body. Her hair became vines with sticks and branches sticking out. Her eyes became more yellow than before, somehow sporting pupils shaped similar to that of apples. Mud and dirt stuck to her body and stayed permanently no matter how many washes. Her plant nature was an enigma to the Goliath, although she certainly didn't seem to mind. Papa, as she affectionately referred to the Goliath as, became a father figure to her. He taught her the art of druidry. He taught her spellcasting and ancient arts of connection to nature, and most importantly, the ability to turn into animals. Her first journey into wild shaping was one he was excited for. He often preferred to roam around his body in his bare form rather than that of his Goliath body. And she had grown excited at the possibilities of becoming other creatures. So many animals lived amongst their cottage. Rabbits, deer, wolves. The possibilities were endless. Her first journey into when the time came for her to attempt her first wild shape, she had a clear vision in her mind. She had seen her papa become a bear so many times, and what fun would it be to be his little cub? However, she was surprised when she found that shape was not the case. She had transformed all right, but was surprised to find herself shaped into an awakened apple tree. Tall and hardy, she was confused. Druids can't become plants. Can they, Papa? Papa found himself more in awe of her than ever. He had only ever been able to master animal form, no matter how many forms he had tried. And yet, she could become a plant in a blink of an eye? No Druid had ever done this. Was it finally time? Was it finally time for her to learn how he had found her? Papa told her that he had found her underneath his apple tree one night. He had no idea where she came from, just that she was deathly ill. An affliction caused by nature itself, it seemed. He had never seen anything like her, and honestly, he found it quite puzzling. With the heavy burden of not knowing who or what she was, Appleseed made a decision. She was to become a Druid adventurer, discovering secrets of the world and being a shelter to those who could not defend themselves. Her papa gifted her a winter wolf pelt and gave her one last warm hug. Told her to keep safe as she ventured off. With tears in her eyes, she set forth. Along the way, she encountered many allies. A dragonborn, a warforged, a halfling, humans and orcs and owlbears and furbolgs too. They all became her friends in her years of adventuring, fighting bandits, nobles, powerful corrupt dragons, and all enemies in between. She even found herself on the brink of death once or twice, which, oddly enough, is how she met the love of her life, a skeleton captain. Death seemed oddly familiar to her, as she found herself on the void of nothingness on the edge of worlds, There, she saw a skeleton man, bearing a captain's hat and a military uniform. He extended a bony hand to her. "Are you here for the skeleton army?" he asked. She answered. She looked at him in surprise. "I'm no skeleton." She laughed. "I'm a goblin. At least, I think I am." "You need not be a skeleton to be in the skeleton army," he replied dully. "You turn when you die, and let me tell you, it's far more fun than life." "In life, you get to learn more about yourself," she smiled back. He seemed an awfully gloomy skeleton. "And in life, you get to meet all sorts of wonderful people." His bony face almost smiled back when he responded. "And yet, in your death, I seem to have met the most wondrous person of all." She blushed at this, and the two found themselves immediately drawn to one another. When she was resurrected, she found herself almost unwilling to go. She didn't want to leave him. It was only 4 years later that she found herself tasked with clearing out a tomb full of undead, and encountered a familiar bony face. "There you are," he grinned. "I've spent my whole return to life trying to find you." Over the past years, Appleseed has begun to realize her existence was not entirely her own. She felt as though she was a goblin, and looked as though she was a goblin. She was small in stature, and petite in frame, but she could take on plant forms. Found herself sprouting vines and sticks, and even small flowers in her skin and hair when she felt happy. She didn't know what entirely she was, but that's what she was determined to find out. Armed with a loving skeleton partner, many friends, including dragons and mice and dolls and fellow goblins and fae and dwarves and vampires and many, many, many more. She now makes friends and makes people smile with an ultimate goal. A goal to find who and what she is, and what secrets her existence holds. I don't want to keep you guys in PRP hell for too long, but I'm trying to, get my model up, my proper model, so, just... No, I'm okay. I am emotional, because this is something I've wanted to share for, a long time. But that is the Druid Appleseed's lore. And we'll be moving to a little Q&A sort of thing after this, once I get my model up and it decides to cooperate for once. So bear with me, please. Oh, Mothball, that means so much to me. Thank you so much. I feel very I always hope that I tell a good story, but I worry that I don't. So Bear with me. We'll be moving to Q&A stuff. Oh, it wouldn't be a good Appleseed stream without Scuff, right? Like, that's just the way it is, you know? Yeah, you gotta have the Scuff. That's legally required. Come on. Come on. It's working on it. It's working on it. It's working on it. Very slowly. Not a true stream without the Scuff. Exactly. Come on. Come on. I haven't used my proper model in so long, I don't even know if my laptop will, like, let me. Okay, 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 okay. Seems like this is gonna be nice for once. Hi. I'm gonna move myself over to like the big thing. I know it's very laggy. My laptop does not like it, and I have a lot of things open right now because I'm kind of running a million things at once. But hello! Let's just make me a little bit bigger, shall we? Hi! Hello, everyone! I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, laptops fucking hate VTubing. I mean, if this is really, really stuttery, I could always just swap to my VTuber model, that's fine. Because it's the lore stream, I wanted to have my proper model a little bit. Hi! Hi! Hi, everyone! I definitely am not, like, you know, wanting to cry a little bit. And that's only the Appleseed number 1! That's only number 1! We still got, like, 2 more to go! Would I like a peanut? I would love a peanut. Okay. Well, I made myself bigger again. I didn't mean to do it that time. What did I all miss? You guys did shit. King Blix, thank you so much for giving a sub to Shooty, planting a tree in the orchard. Thank you. King Estrange, thank you for planting a tree in the orchard. So many cheers. I need to get like a unique cheering thing. More biddies. Thank you for the biddies. King Blix again to Mothball. Thank you for planting a tree in the orchard. Biddies. All the biddies. Thank you very much from both Hexa and King. Kira, I thought your sub... I saw your sub go through. I think it's just the thingy isn't updating because it didn't count King of Strangers either. It definitely did go through. It's just my thing didn't update for whatever reason. So hi. Does anyone have any questions? Any concerns? Any comments? I know the Druid Appleseed's lore is kind of vague. It's definitely designed to be that way. And it's designed to be very very vague for future stuff. She is definitely a goblin. She is definitely a goblin. There is definitely goblin in there. But there is also, oh my god, this is lagging so bad. I might just give up on my proper model and just go to VTuber. I can't stand watching my model lag after my own mouth. It like bothers me. But yes, there's definitely more to it than that. There is more to it than just goblin. What exactly it is still a mystery at this point. I know. but that's not something I'm wanting to reveal quite yet. Especially because the goal is to get like every single class eventually. She didn't speak really any language. Like, she just never really had a need to speak. I toyed around with the idea that, like, she understood Druidic. Maybe didn't know how to, like, speak it herself, but she did understand it. However, like, you know, with the animals and stuff, it was kind of more of a body language communication. Like, she was able to talk to them and communicate with them, but that was mostly through her body language and through, like, their own body language. It was a language in and of itself, but not like a spoken language, you know? That sort of thing. Also, Kari, I'm curious what this NSFW Apple art idea is. Would you still like Sheriff Appleseed? Sure, why not? I'm down for it. But yeah, like, if anyone has questions or comments or just anything they'd like to say, basically, like, she fucking, like, died. The captain's lore is still kind of a work in progress. But basically, like, he recruits for the skeleton army. So when people, like, fucking die, then he goes to them and sees if they're recruits for the skeleton army. And so, yeah, she, like, died, and the captain was like, hey, are you here for the skeleton army? And she's like, nah, I just died, man. And then, yeah, met a sea skeleton and was like, damn, okay. Yeah, no, that one, yeah. I mean, I think sexy skeleton is the ideal, right? Like, I can't think of a more sexy race in the entire world than skeleton. No, it was a forest. It was like a forest area. I think I made a line that was like hot. She felt as hot as the desert sun. She wasn't actually in a desert. I'll try and find exactly what the line was. Yeah, her lips felt as dry as the desert sun. Papa's cottage was in a, like, forested, kind of like a, you know, little farm outside the woods sort of deal, but basically a cottage outside the woods. That sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, who started the fire? That's a real good question, isn't it? A real good question that, again, I'm not quite willing to reveal quite yet. My goal, and granted this is like a long-term goal, like far in the future, is once I have like a solid amount of Appleseed, like, class iterations, I want to have like a, basically, the thread that connects them, and a big lore stream that I actually like want to commission someone to do art for and everything, and have it be like a big thing. That's a far long-term goal, but they are all connected, and that's all I'm gonna say on that. But now I have we didn't start the fire stuck in my head. We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning. You'll just have to see what happens to the other Appleseed iterations. They all do have interesting stories. Yeah, it's such a catchy song. Was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. I do plan, once the stream is over, too, to, like, highlight specifically the lore chapters, and like, making, like, little videos out of those, so that people could have just the lore without, like, the talkbacks afterwards, because I am proud of them. I do wish that, I had another place to put Lucky, because I was a little worried he would be too loud while I was doing lore. I think he was fine, but just purring a lot, which is fine. I can handle purring. I'm gonna have so many biddies today. Damn. Oh, please message me about lore. I was so, like, the only person that has seen any of this lore is the captain. And that's because he helped me, like, proofread, he helped me kind of, edit, and give suggestions for different things. But no one else has seen any of this lore, and I've been working on it for, like, ages. I've been slow developing a lot of it for a while, and just have been writing a bunch this past few weeks, and it's been like really. I mean, we can jump to the next Appleseed whenever people are ready. I figured people would want to talk for a little bit afterwards, but if we want to just jump into things, like, I'm flexible. We can just go straight in, if y'all want. I'm ready, but I'm also down for chatting. Yeah, no, it's again, it's flexible. Maybe I'm like eager to show off third iteration there. King of Karsh's beautiful design they made. Because we got the three there. On a scale of touching toes to heels behind head, how flexible for art purposes? I would say each Appleseed is probably different. Druid Appleseed is probably like I don't know, she's decently flexible. Like, she's able to okay, if we're going based on like actual dex mod, her dex was 20 canonically. She had 20 dex. She had max wisdom and max dex. By the time that campaign concluded. And that would have been level 9? Oh, the weird fly next to me, that's the VTube Studio watermark. You are allowed to crop it out, but actually I think it's kind of cute, and because I haven't used my model, like my 2D in forever, I couldn't be bothered. Everyone wave at small Amy over there. Lucky's going to sleep, I think, so maybe he won't disturb the next two iterations. We'll have to see. I say that, and then he'll wake up and just cause chaos. It is a very cute watermark. It's a super cute watermark. And I love how VTube Studio, like, is like, hey, you could pay for it, and that just helps us out, and also gets rid of the watermark. But at the same time, if you, like, can't afford that, just crop the watermark out. I don't know, the VTube Studio Twitter has been like, crop it. That's fine. So, I don't know. But, either way, it's cute. And, again, I haven't used my Live 2D in forever, so let's just have it hanging out. Maybe one day I'll be rich enough to actually pay for VTube Studio. To pay the whatever it is, like something very small. Like it's a very small price. I'm just cheap. But yeah. Any other questions or comments, or do we want to move on to Bard Apple? Because I'm cool with whatever. So her circle. Her circle is very specifically what do you mean? Like the people she knew? What do you mean? Like her canonic like subclass was it's a homebrew it's a homebrew subclass known as the Circle of the Sun. It's in a book called Balazar's Guide to Exploration. I will try and remember to link it on Twitter once I'm done here. But it is basically a moon druid, but the difference is they can turn into plants instead of animals. It's very similar to the moon druid, like similar kind of wild shape type things, just plants, and has like plant-based bonuses. Like you get like temporary hit points if you're in the sun and stuff like that. It was super neat. It was a really fun subclass to play. As for here, actually, I wanna pull up. Where is it? Gonna just go back a bit here to this one. When I played Appleseed in her proper campaign, I played her like pretty young at heart, like loved to doodle and stuff, but was really bad at it. So she would carry around like a little book where she'd doodle herself and her friends and their adventures. And this was her party. Which you can't tell what races basically any of these things are, and that's exactly how I intended it. So there's her, obviously, as the little gob. This was the captain's character, actually, who was a warforged. Thanks, Nick! There was a halfling, there was a dragonborn, a blue dragonborn, specifically, a human and an elf who, fell in love, an orc and their owlbear, companion. Rectangle head made me think Warforged. I'm glad. So yeah, this is her canonic, like, D&D party. That's a snowman in bear shape. Yeah, basically. It was Tweedle. He was our owlbear friend. I'm just gonna... Forward, 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 forward. Oh. Yeah, we can kind of have that up. But yeah, no, it was a fun campaign. And I mean, it's how I got introduced to the captain. So can't complain. Any other questions about the Druid Appleseed? If you have any questions or even need things clarified, like, I'm happy to go over things. Did she get her own orchard? My canon is after adventuring, she kind of, you know, went to go just make friends with people, and like just went to kind of explore, meet people, and started her own, like, fruit orchard where she planted her friends. Yes, Ruby, this is my live 2D model. Hello. I don't use it very often because my laptop hates it, but yes, this is my live 2D. Yes. So I have different classes of Appleseed, basically. So it's Appleseed. My goal is to eventually get Blix, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Ruby for planting that tree in the orchard. I appreciate it. But yeah, I have, like, several different iterations of Appleseed. My goal is to get one of every single one of the core classes. And 5th edition classes specifically, I should specify. And yeah, just like different, they're all canonically Appleseed, just different versions of her. It was an idea that I thought of a while back, because I kept making jokes about, like, you know, I'd make jokes when I was mad about, like, oh, the barbarian Appleseed is coming out, or I'd make jokes of, like, when I started being a bit more openly lewd, that Bard Appleseed was starting to take shape. And it started off as silly little jokes and then kind of developed into a little idea. And yeah, this is something that is kind of separate to my, like, actual D&D canon, but I really like what I've come up with. Appleseed being openly lewd? What? Ruby has clearly never seen the After Dark Apple Twitter. That's okay, lurk away. Thank you, Nick. Unique shooty for each element of the periodic table? Jesus Christ. Like, go you, that's awesome, but... yeah, it's basically AU Appleseeds. I have canon and I have lore as to, again, what links them all together, but that's not going to be revealed quite yet. It will come one day. But what do you say we jump into Bard? What do we say we bard it up in here? Bard it up Bard style. I think think I will. I've got now 3 done. I have a concept for 2 more already in my brain. I have an artist in mind for one of them already. I just need to wait for them to open commissions. So, you know, I think it's gonna come together. It might be a slow process just because money, but it's happening, and that's exciting to me. So, all right, folks, let's bard it up in here. So I will just BRB for a quick second while I'm going to get that together. So I will be right back. I'm gonna take a sip of water before I go back into another text wall. So give me but a moment, friends. Chapter 2, Song of the Appleseed. In the dawn of day I cross the sea. Nothing but my harp, the trees, and me. The hum of wind all cold and free. Nothing but my harp, the trees, and me. The pang of hunger like a banshee. Nothing but my harp, the trees, and me. Poverty aches oh so beastly. Nothing but my harp, the trees, and me. Warmth, water, food is the key. Nothing but my harp, the trees, and me. Will any God listening hear my plea? Nothing but my harp, the trees, and me. A cold wind blows over a young goblin girl. Body frozen, hands shaking in the frozen wastes. It's winter, dark, cold, and frigid. Bags cover her eyes, as if she hasn't slept for days. Clutched in a ball to give herself any warmth, the girl clings to the ragged robe she does have. It's been months now of this, playing for money on the streets, praying to the gods that someone will drop more than a copper or two. Sometimes she was lucky to get a meal, but more often than not she found herself cold, alone, clutching her heart to her chest and hoping it wouldn't be a cold night. Unfortunately, winter isn't too kind in that regard. This winter was killing her. She had hardly eaten more than dumpster scraps for days, and winter's cold grasp was beginning to take her life. Her body was frozen, and she desperately clung to any warmth she had left. She couldn't take this pain any longer.
"All right there, friend," a chipper voice spoke to her. "Looks like you could use some help."
She looked up from where she lay in the alleyway, eyes fighting to stay open as frostbite wore at them. A kind face was beaming at her, a smile brighter than the sun. A gnome man stood in front of her, red hair patched across his head with a scruffy goatee, his shirt puffy, going down to his knees in a strange skirt-like fashion. He wore tights and leather-tanned shoes, and to his back, strapped, was a lute.
"You find yourself in quite the pickle there, friend," the gnome said. "You should come to the warmth of a tavern."
Was he mocking her? It was late, and deep into the night, far past the bar's hours. She had hardly any money for a cheap flagon of ale, let alone a night's stay at the inn.
"Not a fan of that, the gnome asked. "Well, I can't let a fellow bard just freeze out in the cold."
She was surprised when he extended a hand to her, helping pull her off the ground.
"And besides," he mused, "when fate brings us an opportunity, we take it, and something tells me you might be just that."
She was even more surprised when she was brought by him to the local inn, and a gold piece was placed on the counter for her stay.
"One room for me, and one room for my friend here," the gnome told the innkeep.
The human eyed her up and down, with judgment in his eyes. Her clothes were tattered and ragged, her green hair was unkempt and dirty, and her skin was almost blue, she was so cold.
"I assume that won't be a problem,"
the gnome noticed the innkeeper's hesitancy.
"For the Muse of March."
It was then that both the goblin and the innkeeper noticed a small pin on the gnome's collar, fit with a beautiful lute carved in gold. The gnome wore it proudly. The innkeeper's demeanor changed, as if he was a peasant greeting a king. He handed the gnome 2 keys, one which he handed to her, along with a small pouch of coin.
"Get yourself a drink and a nice meal in the morning," the gnome told her. "It would do you some good."
She had so many questions. No one was ever so kind to her. Why her? Why show such kindness towards a stranger? And what was the Muse of March? When she asked such questions, the gnome laughed.
"Come hear me play tomorrow, sweetheart. You'll learn."
She slept that night burning with curiosity. She couldn't remember ever having actually been able to watch a bard play. Occasionally she would be able to hear the sounds of music when carousing outside the tavern, but never part of the proper audience. She grabbed a heaping mug of apple cider and sat herself down for the show. The gnome was mesmerizing, commanding the stage with confidence. Nearly all eyes in the tavern were drawn to him, and among the crowd were even some nobles in the area. His music was serene and graceful. All that was missing was a harp. Excitedly, she approached the merry gnome after his performance. Nervous, but butterflies dancing in her heart, she asked if she could join him. A duo of bards. The gnome, Simeon, as she later learned, grinned from ear to ear.
"I was hoping you'd say that."
Simeon took her under her wing, and suddenly it was as if her whole world was upside down. The pair taught each other music and wrote new songs. She told stories of great heroes and tall tales of dragons and giants and great monstrosities. Simeon treated her like family, even calling her a sister, and she had never known such love than with him. But more than that, somehow even greater, was the fame. Everywhere the goblin went, she was treated like a queen. Audience held captive by her every word and note, praising her beauty and her way with the harp, dousing her in riches and fine wine and feast. She never once experienced even a pang of hunger, not a chill of poverty's cold breath. She had no worries, only fortune and fame. The pair grew in notoriety in the country, getting more popular by the day, it seemed. They spent the following years in bliss, a true force to be reckoned with in the world of music. That was until the King's contest.
"One bard chosen," sang the criers. "One bard to meet kings and queens across the countries and around the world."
Royalty across the whole world? The goblin girl couldn't even begin to fathom. She already felt like a queen. Imagine impressing dozens of royals. The food she would eat, the drinks she would be served, the fashion she would adorn. She couldn't think of anything better. Simeon agreed. They would try out for the competition. Only one could be the king's chosen, but they worked better as a team. However, a doubt began to fill the harp player's mind. Sure, she could outperform other bards who may come try, but Simeon was something else entirely. He was a true bard, through and through, charming, clever, and damn talented with his lute. She knew her skill, but if anyone was to best her, it would be him. The duo arranged an audience with the king, each prepared to sing their song. First, the harp. She took to center stage and began to pluck her strings, singing her song of poverty and the comfort she found in her harp. The king was clearly impressed. She bowed to him and felt her heart dance in her chest. Surely it would be her who won the contest. Until Simeon began. He plucked his lute, singing a story of a grand hero, a daring tale of intrigue and love, and a beautiful princess to a lowly knight. The king and his queen, as well as the guards and fellow bards, all found themselves gripped to the tale, even the goblin herself.
"Well," laughed the king as Simeon concluded, "seems as though we have a winner."
The goblin's heart sunk. She felt her world shatter as her mind raced. If Simeon was out of the Muses of March, what did this mean? She was alone. She would be back on the streets in no time. No one wanted a goblin like her. She was doomed to fall back right where she began. And the thought absolutely horrified her. That afternoon, as Simeon spoke with the king about his venture, she hatched a plan. She couldn't return to the life she had desperately clawed away from. She needed to be the one who was chosen by the king. She needed fame. That night, while Simeon slept, she snuck into his chambers. Brandishing a dagger in her hand, she plunged it firmly into his heart, blood spurting from his chest and covering her hands. As he retched in pain, he spoke faintly. "Sister Appleseed." He looked at her in disbelief. "You..." "Sorry, old friend." Her eyes cold, devoid of feeling. The king is only looking for one bard to sponsor. She twisted the dagger in his wound, reveling in the sound of his desperate scream. She felt a bit of a twisted, wicked feeling in her stomach, power-hungry. She found herself smiling when she said, "And besides, a good bard once told me, when fate brings us an opportunity, we take it." Simeon's eyes turned dark, and she knew it was done. She returned to the king that morning, crying a desperate plea that Simeon had been murdered in his sleep. The king, saddened though he was by the passing of his true champion, resorted to his second option, Appleseed, the goblin bard. The years passed with her traveling from country to country, performing for lords, ladies, and everything in between. Her fame never once dwindled, only rose as more royals sang her praises. Every now and then she would think of Simeon and feel a cruel smile come across her lips, with no remorse of the life she had taken so willingly. She now lives happily in the spotlight, a bard of whispers and darkness disguised as one of eloquence and kindness. She will never return to the life she once lived, and may the gods help anyone who stands in her way. Hello there, folks. Why isn't... Oh, there we go. Hello! Yeah. Hi. So, thoughts, questions, concerns, comments. Bard Apple was a good one. Thank you. I spent ages trying to come up with something for Bard Appleseed that I liked. I first tossed around with her being like a lore or eloquence bard, and then I'm like, okay, but what if I go a completely different route here? And so I started toying with this story of a fellow bard and just basically my original thought was betraying him in some way. Then I'm like, nah, let's make this like a really power hungry, brutal story. And, you know, Whisper Bard Appleseed was born. It's just, this isn't quite centered and it's bothering me. Exactly. Like, I can... In my canon, like, this is definitely not... I mean, this was probably the first murder and first, like, manipulation and stuff that she ever did. But I imagine there's been a lot since then. And yeah, you'll notice the absence of Papa, because this is a different Appleseed. An Appleseed that never had Papa. Comments, concerns, questions? Whew. Oh my god, I don't know if I could write that. Papa means too much to me. This is going to get, like, legitimately real for a second. Like, this is gonna be, like, out of character, but Papa was, like, canon to Appleseed's, like, original, like, D&D lore. And their relationship is something that I've mirrored as, like, or not mirrored, I guess. I've imagined it as a relationship that I always wish I had with my father. And so I don't think I could take that away. I don't think I could take that away from Appleseed. I don't think I could take that away from myself, to be honest. So. But, oh my god, that would be fucked. Just Uncle Benning the dude. I also do apologize. I should have probably had a bit of a content warning for blood in this one. So I do apologize if that did accidentally trigger anyone. Thank you. I worked very hard to make sure all three of these I thought were very interesting. And that means we only have one more till secret third class. Which is exciting. But does anyone have any questions about Bard Appleseed? Or concerns, or comments, or what have you? Or just about the lore stuff in general? You still have your guess? It's possible. Do all classes exist at the same time? Yes. Yeah, no, they all exist at the same time. Again, like, the best way to think of it is they are basically AU versions of Appleseed. Like, Druid Appleseed is the canon, I guess. Like, she was the first. She is the first. But they all exist at the same time, just in basically different universes, and all have reasons for their existences, I guess. Bard Appleseed never got a dark patron of any kind. She basically just kind of, like, did her own thing, like, kind of rose up. Like, she's very hungry for fame because of the fear of poverty again. Like, she doesn't want to go back to being impoverished. Because she felt that, and she knew how shitty that was. So, yeah. Basically just kind of did her own thing. I imagine a lot of her betrayals and manipulation came from, like, rival bards or even nobility. Just, you know, digging up dirt on them. And essentially, like, if you don't have me do shows for you and, you know, sing my praises, then I'm going to out this sort of information. Also, I think I did mention it on Twitter, but that little song at the very beginning, I wrote myself. I It's very simple. The, nothing but my harp, the trees, and me. If I had a harp myself and knew how to play the harp, I would happily compose it as well. Because I'm an extra motherfucker. Yeah, Bard Appleseed absolutely walks a fine line of people wanting to murder her. She is, at least currently, the Appleseed iteration, I think probably has the most people wanting her dead. Maybe one day, like, far in the future, if I ever, like, learn the harp, I'll write, like, a proper version of the Nothing But My Harp, the Trees, and Me. Maybe? I have an acoustic guitar somewhere. Not here, but somewhere at, like, my mom's house. I'd like to learn an instrument. That's the one thing that I think, like, I as a person, that's probably something that I want. Like, if I had to pick a skill to learn, just learning any instrument. Ideally, like, a guitar or a ukulele, like, something that I could play a lot of music on. Piano as well. Although I wouldn't be able to fit a piano in here. So, a guitar or ukulele. I know the very basics of guitar. I got it when I was, like, younger. And, you know, it was, like, one of those teenage things where it's like, I want to learn how to play guitar. And then you try it for, like about a month. And then you're like, nah, this is too hard. And you give up on it. And then as an adult, you're like, why did I give up on that? That's how I feel. I know how to sing, so that's my thing, but I have very dainty ass hands. Are those piano hands? I don't know. I think I've mentioned before, I have, like, canonically hands that are as small as, like, as a 24-year-old woman, I have hands that are smaller than some of the 12-year-olds and 11-year-olds at work. Just because my hands are very small and very dainty. I had one woman approach me in a mall once. And this was when I was, like, a teenager. So it was, like, really creepy then. But I had just gotten my nails painted. And so I was walking around with, like, painted nails. And she said I should be a hand model. Which was really weird to say to, like, a 15-year-old. But nice, I guess. I don't know, maybe I can make money in it. Would that make me more money than daycare? Probably. A lot of things make more money than daycare. Do people need hand models? If you need hand models, hit me up, I guess. Any more questions about the lore? Or anything of the sort? I mean, basically anything makes more money than fucking daycare work. Which is really sad, because we're literally caring for people's children. But, like, even people with a degree in my field, like, in childhood education, even people with a degree earn less money than, like, than like friends of mine do working their like Walmart jobs, basically. Which isn't to say, like, people working retail absolutely deserve the money, but people in childcare do too. But Appleseed did not get a party. She canonically did not get a party. Does your partner work retail or with kids? Because I've worked both, and both have days where you come home just beaten down. I truly could not tell you which is harder. On the one hand, having a kid, like, shit on your shoes, yeah, that's I think one of the hardest parts, is, like, it's hard to feel appreciated working with kids. Unless you have, like, a really good boss. Which I've talked about, I do not. I have, like, my room partner, basically. Because at my center, there's 2 staff to every room. So my room partner and I, like, make sure we know how fucking, like, appreciated the other is. And how much we, like, help each other out. Yeah, exactly. Parents can either be like 100 or 0. I could do a whole stream just on daycare teacher rants I have, but that's a whole separate thing entirely. Any further questions, comments? No, it's okay. It's okay. Look, I fully expect, especially after the next Appleseed, because it'll be like a new like forum, that there will be some questions, and then it will just turn into a just chatting stream for a bit. Oh my god. I've done work with kids, Kari, where I've taught them, like, I've done, like, theater work with kids. So, you know, I've worked in children's theater where, like, you know, some of my fellow cast members were, like, in their 50s or 60s, and some of my fellow cast members were, like, 10. So, it's like, it's hard teaching kids. It's hard teaching kids, period. I was gonna say more than that, but it's hard teaching kids, just end of statement. Are we ready for next Appleseed? Are we ready for the brand new Appleseed? Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yush. Yay. Excite. Okay. Then I will go back to BRB for a second. Actually, first things first, I will do this. And then I will go to BRB. And just me. Chapter 3. Guidance of the Appleseed. Darkness. Cold. A void of nothingness and a sea of black. "Awaken, child," a woman's voice spoke. A goblin girl opened her eyes. Looking around, she saw black. Nothing else, just blackness. Her body standing in a strange, dark void. Where am I?" Her head spun, and she felt strangely warm. "In a place between worlds," the voice responded. Soft, inviting, but powerful. Who's speaking to me?" "I go by many names. Most know me as the mother of the tree or the giver of the fruit. But you may call me Melanea." She didn't understand what was happening. This void, this voice, in between worlds, was she speaking to a god? "I know no gods by your name." "Perhaps, but you don't know much of anything right now, do you?" It's true. The girl didn't remember the names of any gods. She couldn't remember where she was from, or what she did, or how old she was. She couldn't even remember her old name. The voice continued. "To water the seed, nurture the tree, and see it bear fruit. That is my only tenant." Once again, the goblin didn't understand. Why was she being spoken to in the first place? "Give kindness to those who are unkind. Shelter those who are weak and watch them grow strong. Goodness bears goodness, even when it seems impossible. That is your mission, child." Her mission? Why her, a girl who didn't even remember anything about herself? To show kindness and goodness seemed noble and just, but why her of all creatures? I don't understand. Why me? The voice, although no form was given to its presence, seemed to smile when it replied. "Simple, because I chose you." The blackness overtook her at that point, and she felt everything grow cold as her eyes completely shut, falling into a deep, deep sleep. When she awoke, she found herself confronted by two clerics. One young human man, with a kind face and short brown hair, smiled at her. "Are you hurt, child?" The goblin shook her head no, the goddess's voice ringing loud in her ears. "I'm glad we found you when we did," said the priest. "I'm High Priest Ephraim. You are in the Church of Melanea, the goddess mother of the tree." She looked around. She found herself sitting in front of a stained glass window of a woman. Flowing auburn hair, with vines covering her breasts and genitals. The woman raised her hand to a tall tree, an apple tree. "Be not afraid, child," spoke the other priest, an elven woman with defined features and long white hair. "Brother Ephraim is strong and wise. We do not wish to harm you. Melanea nurtures and protects the weak. We do not cast them out." "Sister Adrin speaks true," Brother Ephraim repeated. "We only wish to help." Goblin began to tell her story, explaining she had no recollection of, anything, really. But yet, for whatever reason, the goddess had chosen her, and now she was here, amongst the clergy. Clearly, this meant she was to join them. The clerics accepted her with open arms, and she began her work. Every day, she would go out and spread the word about the goddess. She would perform good deeds and correct wrongdoings. She spent many years doing this, making a name for herself in the town as a kind priestess. Over the years, Sister Adrin helped her teach her magic through faith, learning spells of healing and light. She studied the goddess Melanea thoroughly, and the goddess's tenets about sheltering the weak and giving kindness to those who are unkind became the goblin's only purpose. Brother Ephraim would often make house calls to different families, and when the goblin would visit them later, they were always overjoyed to see her. She studied especially under him, becoming an apprentice of sorts to him. He was kind and giving, always checking in on those in need. He preached the word of the goddess well, ensuring to emphasis that kindness bears kindness, and how important it was to help those who were unkind and teach them true goodness and love, as those were often the most unloved of individuals. There was a great deal of respect for the church in the village. The townsfolk often donated large amounts of coin. It was a small village, poor and impoverished. Many people, even those young of body, were plagued with ailments and had limps and injuries. She paid special attention to those who did, ensuring to often speak with them and help cure their ailments however she could. But there was one individual in particular who caught her attention. A young boy, likely only age 10. A beggar who lived on the streets. He seemed to have no family, just himself. The village folk would often pass him by without word. She would always make an opportunity of visiting him. He would sit on the street corner, a small broken mug from the tavern used for collecting coin. She would often drop what she could spare, a few copper here and there, maybe even a silver or two. But every day, his comments were of a similar nature.
"That's all. I know the church has lots of gold to spare. Why not do something with it?"
Unfortunately, she would tell him, that gold is not mine to spend freely. Each day, similar comments would be told to her. She wished she could do more for the boy, but giving something was better than nothing at all, wasn't it? And yet, not once did she ever hear a thank you. One day, in particular, she found herself out in the village performing her daily deeds. It was only about midday when she felt a pair of hands at her coin purse. She turned immediately, ready to cast a spell on a bandit or kobold if need be. Instead, she found the scared eyes of the beggar boy. "What are you doing?" she asked, anger taking her for a brief moment. He dropped the few silver he managed to steal from her purse immediately. "Please," he begged, tears welling in his eyes. "Don't hurt me." She lowered her hands, kneeling down to him. He was just a boy, afraid and hungry. She looked at his malnourished frame. He needed a good meal. "Stealing isn't a kind thing to do," she told him, gathering the coin by his feet, "and to the wrong person, it could get you seriously hurt." She put the silver back in her coin pouch and handed the pouch to him. He looked at her, bewildered. "I don't think what you did is okay, but you need this more than I do." The boy stared at her in awe. He had just stolen from her, and yet... She placed the pouch in his hand. "There are better ways of getting money, you know. People here are kind, even if they don't seem to be. Do work for them, offer them service, be kind to them, and they'll be kind to you." The boy nodded, shaky and still surprised at her generosity. She stood up, about to walk off, wondering if her message had truly gotten through to him. When she heard a few words she had always hoped to hear from him. Thank you, miss." She smiled to herself and headed back to the church. She often told Brother Ephraim about her day when she returned. She recounted about the alchemist she helped gather herbs for, and the old woman who she bought bread for, and even the baby bird she helped return to its nest. But she also mentioned the beggar boy, how she had caught him rifling in her purse, how she prayed one day he could find good fortune, and how she hoped that their chat would help him find better avenues for money-making. Brother Ephraim stayed silent, listening to her tale, seeming to ponder. The next day went about the same, her day filled with good deeds and kindness. She returned to the church at 4 in the afternoon, like she always does. Only there, she found something truly horrific. In front of the glass window of the goddess was the beggar boy she often saw in the market, arms tied to a wooden cross, tears streaming down his face, a gag in his mouth. Brother Ephraim and Sister Adrin stood in front of him, candles lit surrounding the cross and ground below. "Sister," Brother Ephraim called, "you're just in time." The goblin, eyes wide in horror, looked up at the boy. He was struggling against the vines, pleading against his dag desperately for his life. "What?" The boy stuttered. It looked as though the boy had been beaten. His skin was blackened and bruised. "What are you doing?" Sister Adrin smiled. "Punishing the wicked, of course." Appleseed couldn't believe her ears. "Punishing?" "When you told Brother Ephraim about this poor child having stolen from you, we knew he had to correct his behavior." The goblin felt her heart sink and anger wash over her. "You mean you—" She choked on the words. "You beat him? Because of what I told you?" "Naturally," Brother Ephraim smiled. "He's a child! He doesn't know any better!" "Exactly. Which is why we must teach him." She felt sick to her stomach. This boy hurt because of her, although it wasn't really her. It was them. Was this why so many people in the town were sick? Why so many were injured? Was all the giving towards the church out of fear? "This is wrong." The goblin shook her head. "Get him down. Now." She felt as though she was going to throw up. Every part of her being betrayed her. This is what they had been doing to people, in the name of the goddess she loved so dearly. Brother Ephraim laughed. "My dear sister of the tree, his sins have twisted your mind." She was in complete disbelief of him. "The only thing that is twisted here, brother, is your treatment of these people." Brother Ephraim's wicked smile soon turned into anger. "Very well, sister," he said coldly. "Perhaps this will change your mind." She watched in horror as the boy writhed. All color drained from his face as his skin began to burn from necrotic energy. "No!" the goblin screamed, rushing to the cross. The boy fell from the bindings, collapsing to the ground below, charred and corrosive. She began to sob loudly. Brother Ephraim approached her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "I understand how hard this must be for you, sister. I mean, this poor boy, having done such a cruelty to you." The goblin felt her mind race, and fear and cruel anger flood her being. She had never felt such a powerful rage before. "Is this why you chose me?" She wondered to the goddess. "Did you know these people hurt others in your name? People have died while you watched and let yourself be besmirched in the name of justice." She felt her blood boil and grabbed at Brother Ephraim's hand. For the first time ever, she cast a spell of inflict wounds on him. Wrenching his hand away from her shoulder, Sister Thrin immediately cast a firebolt in retaliation. The goblin girl ran, fleeing the church with the sounds of 2 priests behind her. She didn't know where to go. She didn't know what to do. She ran, running to the center of the town square and pushing past the crowd of folks gathered there. The mayor was giving some sort of message to the group. Perfect. She could see, out of the corner of her eyes, Brother Ephraim and Sister Adrin running towards her, fury in their eyes. They wouldn't dare cause a scene. How many of the townsfolk knew? How many of them had been affected? Could she even rally them? Did the guards know? Did the mayor know? She ran up to the stage. Mr. Mayor? A kind man, in good health, likely had never known the horrors of the church. The church. It's the church, she sobbed. He responded gruffly. What about the church? They're hurting people. They're killing people, she pleaded, turning to the crowd. Please, someone. Brother Ephraim stepped forward now, and the goblin watched as some of the members of the crowd actively recoiled at his sight. My dear Mayor, forgive our sweet sister of the tree. She has been plagued by hallucinations. Hallucinations? The gall of him. She brought pleading eyes to the townsfolk, begging someone, anyone, to say something. The mayor laughed. The church has been a vital part of this village since I was a babe. There ain't no way anyone's hurting there. The goddess helps us. You know that, right, sister? The goblin nodded slowly. And besides, what proof do you have? It's a wild accusation to be throwing willy-nilly like that. Proof? Her heart sank. She had nothing but her own 2 eyes that bore witness to the cruelty of the church. She couldn't provide any sort of evidence. The crowd wouldn't come forward. They wouldn't support her. It was over. But then, she heard the goddess's voice. One she hadn't heard in ages. She knows the horrors she has seen. To doubt her is to doubt the goddess herself. For a short moment, her body was not her own. Her voice carried that of the goddess herself. She heard the sounds of herself pleading with the clergy of the church, the sounds of their soft chanting, and the screams of the beggar child when he lost his life. The scene replayed over and over in her mind like a haunting echo. The power inside her was overwhelming. Something divine was happening. She couldn't say what it was the crowd had seen, or if they had even seen anything. But when the cleric finally returned to her senses, she saw before her a group of people changed. Angry, scared, and both horror and awe of whatever had just transpired. And next to her, she saw the corpse of the boy, charred and mangled, returned to life. Vibrant, strong, perhaps even healthier than before. A miracle from Melania herself. This, she gestured to the boy, is the goddess I know. Not one who punishes heretics, not one who hurts those who hurt others, but one that shelters the weak and teaches them goodness. That is the true goddess, Melania. The boy came to her side, tears welling in his eyes, as he wrapped his arms around her. The townsfolk around it erupted into a mob, angrily turning on the church they once praised and feared. Brother Ephraim and Sister Adrin were arrested immediately, with the other members of the clergy, including the girl who sent them there herself, tasked with correcting them and teaching them the right ways. The beggar boy became part of the clergy, and the goblin ensured no harm would ever come to him, or any others in the name of the goddess ever again. To nurture the tree and see it bear fruit was her mission, and now she's here to share it with all of you.
Fruit salad, yummy, yummy. Fruit salad, yummy, yummy. Yummy, 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 yummy fruit salad. Fruit salad, yummy, yummy. Fruit salad.
I don't know why it's playing twice. Hi! So, this is Cleric Appleseed. Hello. It's nice to meet all of you. I'll admit I'm a little nervous, but I hope that you like me and want to know more about me. But nah, she's thick. This is Cleric Appleseed. This has been the Appleseed that I've been keeping hidden for like a month now at this point. Made by the amazing King of Carps, aka Gob of Carps on Twitch. Yeah, she's thick. She is, I think, the thickest, biggest boobud Appleseed of them all. She's a thick girl. She was originally designed with a bit more, because her original design was specifically just, the idea was slutty cleric. So her original design had a bit more areola being shown. She worships a homebrew deity of my own creation, which I think I said 2 different versions of the name because I've been debating. Like, I didn't know which version of the name I would go with when I went into this stream. Melanea is the name of the deity. I think I called her Melania towards the end, but Melanea. Nay. But spelled like that. She is a homebrew deity. She is a goddess of, she calls herself, and people call her, the mother of the tree and giver of the fruit. Her, kind of domains are nature, life, and probably also, like, protection, if I had to pick one more. Maybe light as well. But this Appleseed herself is a life cleric. It's a boring choice, I know, but life clerics, I don't know, I like life clerics. I've always liked life clerics. But, yes, Melanea is a goddess of my own creation. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions for little old Cleric Apple? I can answer them in character if you want to. I don't mind.
Did your brain just give a Boston accent? I don't know what you're talking about. In actuality, I think, and I know I wasn't really reading it that way, but in actuality, I think her voice is probably a bit softer than the other Appleseeds. I think it's a bit more... I think it's a bit more like this. A little shy. But excited. Excited to meet people. I would love some bardic inspiration. That'd be really nice. Huge fucking bottom energy. Huge. Again, when created, it was specifically with the idea of slutty cleric in mind. So an outfit that's just a little not quite, doesn't quite fit properly. I think the amount of boobies she shows is still within Twitch guidelines. I think we're still fine. Yeah, no, her story is one that I was very, very happy with. I had the captain read it because I finished it up. I finished up my rewrites of it. Maybe I should be more specific. Literally last night. And so I sent it to him, and he was right. I really like the ending. It gives me kind of like Prince of Egypt vibes, and I was like, I couldn't ask for a better compliment. Someone saying that anything I write is comparative to Prince of Egypt, which is one of the best written and animated movies of all time. Not by that man. Not by that man. He's a piece of shit. He killed a child. But she does over the years, the beggar boy grown up? No. She would have been, I know I'm not super specific with ages and timelines here. Humans do age quicker than goblins, so I suppose it is possible. But, she would have been probably, like, the human equivalent of, like, 16 when the boy was 10. So... would have been, like, about 16 when all that transpired. Yeah, big difference. So no. No. I like to think that the beggar boy, who I've named Timothy in my mind, I know I didn't really give him a name, but I've called him Timothy in my mind. I like to think that little Tim stayed like working with the clergy though. I should have, for the last image, before the model itself had like him in clergy robes. I think that would have been cute, but too late now. But yeah, no, she does absolutely get older and get railed by other people. I was never really like a Tobuscus fan, like even back in the day. I think the only Tobuscus thing I know is like Nugget and a Biscuit. Nugget, biscuit, nugget, and biscuit. Nugget, biscuit, nugget, and biscuit. Dip it all in mashed potatoes. I like to think that she. I mean, I have the canon mostly because I like all people and I'm pansexual as fuck. So I think in turn just my OCs are pansexual as fuck. But I like the idea that she got older and was like, the goddess, kinda hot. Like the goddess was a weird gay awakening for her. Ooh, Druid Apple NSFW done. You'll have to send it my way. I'm curious. Or just post it on Twitter and tag me in it. Preferably my NSFW Twitter, but honestly I don't really care which. But yeah, it's on your After Dark Apple. Nice. I'll look at it after everything. But yeah, I really like this art. I think she looks really fucking cute. And King of Carps did a really amazing job. And this wasn't even something I commissioned from him at first. I don't know if I mentioned that. This was something I jokingly tweeted about Slutty Cleric Appleseed on my After Dark Twitter. Which, for those who aren't aware, is my NSFW Twitter. After Dark Apple, exactly what Kari just said. Aw, thank you, Blegs. That really means a lot to me. I'll finish this tangent, then I'll go on a separate tangent about that. But I jokingly tweeted about Slutty Cleric Appleseed, and Carp started messaging me, being like, okay, what do you want? Like, give me details. And I was like, I'm totally fucking joking, but okay. And he drew it, and she looked amazing, and I was like, holy fuck, like, she looks so cute. And then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, actually, she looks really cute. Would you mind, like, giving her a second, like, version, because he gave me, like, the mouth open one first. So, would you mind giving me a version where her mouth is closed? And I could use it as, like, a reactive PNG. I'd properly, like, commission you for it and everything, because I planned on doing that with an artist eventually anyways. And he was like, hell yeah. And here we are. So that is the amazing, just for people who might not know, Carps, King of Carps on Twitter. Really, really talented artist. Mostly does NSFW stuff. Has made a few spicy Appleseed drawings before. But very, very talented artist and wonderful individual. And she looks so cute. I'm so happy with her. But thank you guys for your compliments on the lore. I really do love writing. Like, I've talked about it a bit before, but I used to, like, I wrote a lot of fan fiction back in the day. Actually had a pretty successful fan fiction Tumblr blog at one point, which I'm not going to delve too much into at the moment. But, hi, Claire! Hi! You're just in time to meet Cleric Appleseed. Alassian! Hello! You too are just in time to meet Cleric Appleseed. No, that's okay. We've gone through the lore, but at the same time, like, if people want, I'd be happy to, like, redo it. Like, I could just read all the lore bits out again. That's fine with me, if people are interested in that, for those who might have missed. And I plan on rerunning this stream too, probably like a few times. You're not gonna revive it? What do you mean? Like, I've done my 3 characters worth of lore already. Rack! Thank you! Thank you so much! Thank you for gifting a sub to Codex. If you give me the VOD, I can splice this into 3 separate videos and cut out all the extra bits. If you wouldn't mind doing that, Blix, that would be amazing. I'm not good at video editing, but I was gonna attempt. But I'd be happy. Like, I'm definitely planning on keeping the VOD up for a while. I'm posting it to, like, YouTube and stuff for people to see. So it will be around, but I would like just the lore sections too. Which, again, I'd be happy to redo now as well, if people are interested. Yeah, I can put it in a Dropbox, no problem. I've got cat hair in my nose, and I've been trying, like, not to sneeze. That's beauty of having a cat, right? Cat hair gets everywhere. But yeah. She's a cute one. I really, really like her. Her lore is a little bit, like, dark. And the kind of more culty aspects of things, but I like it. I think it's good. Oh, yeah, I could do it in Google Drive. That's easy. Easy. I wanted to have a few little twists and turns. Warlock, Zealot Barbarian is what I thought people might think for a brief little bit at least. Cats are still not annoying as dogs. I've never had a dog, so I can't really attest to that. Big, strong zealot mommy. Barbarian Appleseed is still to come. I do have ideas. I don't want to spoil anything, but I've got a pretty fun idea for what I'm thinking I might do next. Thank you, Hexa! Thank you! I look, again, I'm planning on getting them all eventually. I want them all eventually. Just however that happens. But yeah, I really like the way Cleric Appleseed turned out. And I really like what I've written for all of them. I haven't written much for a while, so I was kind of nervous how things would turn out. But people seem to like it, and that makes me happy. So yay! Yeah, I put everything's all me. Everything was me. I had the captain proofread. And the captain specifically came up with the idea of, like, a corrupt clergy for Cleric Appleseed. So give him credit there. But aside from that, everything else was all me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, it's not anything big budget. I'd love to do something like that, but I don't make enough money for that, really, so. We work with what we got. The only problem is I have no idea what sort of things to do with Cleric Appleseed. Like Bard Appleseed, I can do kind of spicier, like kinkier things. Like smashes or passes are good with Bard Appleseed. I don't know. I could play games where I play as a healer, I guess. If I play Smite ever on stream again, ASMR for Cleric or story time. Yeah, maybe Cleric Appleseed would be good for, like, just chatting type stuff. Bard's also good for, like... Oh, it's not her personality, no. But it's just, like, hard to think of... exact roleplay stuff. I mean, I have the channel point redeems, which are off right now. But I have the channel point redeems where people can redeem points and, you know, let Bard or Cleric Appleseed take over the stream at literally any time. And I do have, like, roleplay stuff that make them different, but I want, like, to do more specific streams with my other class PNGs. Ah, Crash! Thank you so much! Thank you for planting your tree in the orchard. You think fruit salad, after all this time, I would have gotten tired of it, of hearing it play every single time someone subs? I never will. I'm convinced of this. Yeah, no, I very much envision her as, like, pretty shy, at first, but then, like, kind of has... like, powerful rage when it does come out. And I imagine her definitely being, like, a secret kind of degenerate. Where, you know, it's like, you know, people will mention, like, a kink to her, and it's like, like, just kind of awkward, like, turned on, but doesn't want to admit she's turned on. Cleric Appleseed is for scary games. What scary games do I play, Kiro? Like... what scary games? Do tell me. Since when do I play scary games? Please, please. Lord Good, 20 out of 10. Oh, thanks! I, again, was very worried. Now you can. I don't want to, is the thing. I don't like scary. I don't know if any of y'all... Kari was there, for sure. During Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. That was a fucking experience, and I'm never doing that again. 500 writing credits to the University of Twitch. Oh, damn. I'm so lucky. I got writing credits to to the University of Twitch. But I don't know. Cleric Appleseed could be good for, like, more rage-inducing type stuff. I think she could be good for some, like, kind of chill... Oh, Phasmo! Phasmo doesn't scare me, really. I mean, it freaks me out, but, like, when I think of scary games, I think of stuff like Amnesia. I think of, I think of, like, The Mortuary Assistant. I think of PT. I think of... Phasmo and Dead by Daylight are games that I've heard people call scary, but I don't know. There's definitely moments that do scare me, but not as much as, like, other games. And I don't really consider them scary games. I mean, I get scared playing Left 4 Dead too, so... I'm a baby. Look, I've gotten scared playing fucking, like... Look, I mean, December's coming up, and my birthday's on a Friday. So, Saturday subathon is entirely possible, is all I'm saying. I haven't played Dead by Daylight in a while. I don't know how well my laptop could run it. Yeah, I've gotten scared playing Terraria. Yeah, my birthday's in December. But Saturday and Friday are for D&D. Actually, about D&D. I've got an exciting D&D based announcement. This next week, aka starting Sunday. No, I don't want followers, thanks. Give me a second, I'm just banning this bitch. Let's just bye. Starting this Sunday, I'm going to be starting a brand new campaign, a Pokemon 5e campaign, live on stream. I have yet to come up with a proper name for it, so its working title is Pokemon Orchard Version. It is myself as the DM, Snug Cinder as one of the players, the lovely Captain as another one of the players, the wonderful Arcnon as another one of the players, and then ENVT as the final one of our players closing off the roster. And it's going to be the four of those lovely losers and myself just playing some Pokemon, having a good time. So that starts up tomorrow at like 7 p.m. CST. The way Pokemon 5e works is it's basically like you play Pokemon trainers with Pokemon, and you have a Pokemon adventure. So I've created my own region. I'm quite proud of it. Can you introduce the shiny coughing in the first episode? Why? Is there a reference here I'm missing? I mean, I can. Just why? Because he's blue and I love him. Yeah, it's basically just you're playing Pokemon, like a game of Pokemon, but in 5th edition rule set. It's gonna be very casual, very, very chill. It is based off of my good old home in the Great White North. Canada, baby! I've ran like the Professor Oak like one shot before, But this will be my first time doing like a proper campaign, and I'm very excited. And then, if that wasn't it enough, come Tuesday, we're finally getting back to Folktales, baby! Folktales, for those who aren't aware, is the campaign I was running as well, which is a bunch of sentient animal folk. It's a 5th edition D&D campaign, just good old-fashioned Dungeons and Dragons. And once again, we have Cinder and the captain, and then the wonderful Kekeyumi, who y'all might know as the person who created my new emotes, and did my VTuber model. Very talented artist. Very, very wonderful. King Blix, I have not changed combat at all. I'm still pretty new to it, so any changes will come as we feel they are needed. When I did the one-shot, we didn't really have any issues. Gym leader rules are they could tackle them separately, they could tackle them all together, the teams will reflect as such. It's all still a work in progress. Again, the system, like, I've never really run Pokemon 5e, so it'll be learning for me as well. But the players are all excited, I'm excited, everyone's excited. I just am excited to run D&D stuff again. We're using Roll20. And it will be all streamed. And I'm very excited. I'll probably make like a proper announcement image thing later today. But all extremely exciting. I love D&D. All D&D is good D&D. I didn't have too much issue with the one-shots, but then again, those were one-shots. So, again, we'll see. I might need to, like, adjust things as we go. We'll see. Either way, again, I'm excited. But yeah. It's all exciting shit. I'm very excited for everything. For all the things. I'm still trying to figure out the rest of the streams for next week, though. What sort of things do people want to see? I'm thinking tomorrow during the day, depending on how much prep I get done on Pokemon stuff tonight, we might play more Pokemon Crystal Clear. Because since I lost yesterday, I'm eager to get caught up to roughly where I was. So we'll just have like a Pokemon day. It'll be like Pokemon in the morning, and then Pokemon 5e in the evening. I think that could be fun. I don't know, maybe we'll play more Webbed this week. I wouldn't mind playing more Webbed. Webbed was fun. I need to figure out when the captain's off first. When Pokemon's on a bagel, you can have Pokemon anytime. I love Pokemon, man. Like, I'm gonna shout out a fellow VTuber right now, the wonderful Uniduck, who is a Princess Duck VTuber. Uni is like a really adorable VTuber who just recently went to like full-time Poke streamer. Like all they do now is Pokemon content, which I mean I love Pokemon. I could absolutely see myself just doing Pokemon content full-time. I love so many games that I'm not going to do that, but I just think that's really cool. I think there's a lot of really neat Pokemon content out there, and there's gonna be a lot of intrigue with that. Also, speaking of Pokemon, I'm going on a Pokemon tangent right now. Feel free to interrupt me at literally any time. Scarlet and Violet comes out soon. Holy shit. Scarlet and Violet comes out, like, very, very, very soon. I am still chatting and figuring out exactly what our plan is stream-wise with that. I have folks, the folks for Pokemon 5e, actually. So, Cinder, Arcanon, Amp, who I plan on streaming it with. I need to figure out what days exactly we're gonna do that. Because I'm eager and I want to play it like as soon as possible. But I want to like experience it for the first time with all of you. Like I don't want to play it on my own. I mean, I plan on doing like a playthrough with you guys and then a playthrough with my sister. Like I'm gonna be playing a lot of Pokemon that weekend is all I'm saying. But I need to figure out exactly our stream schedule for that because hot damn, I need me some Pokemon that weekend. Yeah, I just want to play Pokemon with people, you know? That's where I'm at. Multiplayer Pokemon makes me so excited. I just want to experience it with folks. But yeah. Does anyone have any more, like, questions about anything lore related? Or anything of the sort? Because if not, I might end stream pretty soon. Part of me is like, I should end stream and plan the campaign I'm starting tomorrow. Because I have things planned out, but I need to like set up maps and stuff. And the other part of me is like, why? Well, play video game with friends, with on stream. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Be productive. Would I like an egg? Sure. Is it a safe egg? Is it a safe egg? Can I eat egg? Is it egg that has chick? Do all my anxiety prep. That's basically what it is. It's like Earth Drake egg? Yes, please. Drake Warden Ranger Appleseed is being born right now, apparently. I was very surprised how many people in the little poll I put up on Twitter thought that Ranger Appleseed was coming. I was very surprised by that. I don't know if I have any concept for Ranger Appleseed. I have, like, very rough ideas, but I haven't, like, put anything in, like, I haven't solidified anything, which I have for a lot of other Appleseed classes. Alright then, friends. I think I might go do my anxious prep. Get some stuff together for stream stuff for tomorrow. Because I'm always working and my stream prep is never done, apparently. We are going to send a raid over to Toozy Fox, who is a Fox VTuber. Very, very lovely Fox VTuber. Enjoy your over prepping. I mean, again, I have like the idea figured out. I just want to get like rough maps and stuff, and I need to make tokens. And stuff like that. But we're going to raid Toozy Fox. Toozy is a Fox VTuber. They are currently playing some Tunic. So, Fox VTuber playing a Fox game. Kind of cute. Thank you guys all so much for, like, going on this roller coaster of lore with me. I really hope you all liked it. I worked very hard, so thank you all for your comments and your love, and just for supporting me all the time, and, you know, being excited when I do shit like this, like lore things or debuting a new class, because it means a lot, and it makes me feel like my hard work isn't for naught. So, thank you all. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow, possibly in the morning for Pokemon Crystal Clear, but definitely in the evening for Pokemon 5e. Bye-bye!
Owie! God, you got behind her. Ow! I'm gonna die.